Hey everyone, Rachel and Steph Yogabones, super excited to bring you our next yoga
BAM!
The benefits, alignment and modification cues for your yoga asana, your yoga poses. Today we are looking at
Chaturanga
that one. Chaturanga Dandasana, that one that's done so poorly most of the time.
I know.
And before we get onto the alignment cues, we're just going to give you the key benefit that we think you're going to get out of doing Chaturanga properly. What's your key benefit, babe?
To me, it's all about core and like creating heat. Because at the end of the day, Chaturanga, we want to hold it, right?
Yeah.
We were just talking about this I was bringing it up, that in class, I see a lot of my students that kind of go through Chaturanga, like they exhale really, really fast and then they're up to the next thing.
Up to up dog, yeah.
And I make them start over all the time because Chaturanga is a pose, people. It's an asana. Asana. And we want you to get all our cues of our alignment, benefits, and all that fun stuff to be able to hold your Chaturanga. To me, if you're not able to hold it for 5 to 10 breaths, then reevaluate where you are. What are the modifications?
What do the modifications? I mean, I very rarely, I'm strong, and I very rarely hold Chaturanga because I need to know that I'm doing it properly. So
exactly.
And what you'll find is when you've done a few sun cells, then you can do your modifications in the first few rounds, and then you'll start to be able to maybe actually holding Chaturanga properly after a couple of rounds of sun cells.
Yeah.
So to Steph's point about her benefit being core and manipura and heat, basically I just want to agree with her because it's a really wonderful opportunity to activate your core. So in physio land, in osteo land, yoga coach land, we call it transverse abdominis. Nerd land. We call it your transverse abdominis. So it's that key core muscle. So in our abs, everyone, we've got 4 layers of abs. And a lot of abs. And your innermost layer is literally like old lady pants. So it's literally, it kind of does that. It actually extends from the sternum all the way down to the pubic symphysis. And it literally goes all the way around. The muscle element isn't here, everyone. The muscle element is here. So let me just do that. But basically, so your TA activation, because, and for a couple of key reasons. One of them is that you're trying to do what Steph's talking about, elongating the spine. But also what you're doing, ideally, if you're using your arms properly and you're using your legs properly, you're going to have that reflex element that activates TA. So who needs the gym and Pilates? When you do your yoga properly, you can get that core strength.
Yes. And if you take the arms out of Chaturanga, like the pose, what does Chaturanga look like if you take the arms out? It looks like Tadasana.
Yeah.
It's that
always.
We come back to that blueprint. We come back to Tadasana from the crown of the head all the way through the feet, finding that full vertical extension of your spine. So I always think about that. If you take the arms out, you're literally in that perfect line.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go kind of show it, and we're going to go through the modifications. Very important.
Very important. So basically, we're going to get beautiful Steph to give us Chaturanga there, and I'm going to get her to transition from Chaturanga to one of the key modifications, which is either plank, where she is at the moment, or doing 4-point kneel. So just come on to 4-point kneel there, Steph.
Oh.
Yeah, just come into what I call tabletop, everyone. And one of the key alignment cues, everyone, for this is to take your crown. I'm going to try and get my crown on Steph's head there, my finger on Steph's crown. Take it away from your sitting bones. So how long, that's not the line, beep, beep, that's the line. How long can you get your spine? Can you take the crown of the head away from the sitting bones, which is exactly what Steph is talking about, is what you're trying to do in Tadasana. So then what I'm going to get her to do is just bend the elbows a little bit so she can hold a baguette underneath both arms. So a baguette underneath her left armpit and a baguette underneath her right armpit. So if she's got the long spine and then she's got the locked in arms, shoulders pulling away from the ears. In yoga, everyone, you're not wearing your shoulders like earrings. Don't do that, okay? So pull the shoulders away from your ears, and then from that tabletop position, all she's going to do there is straighten her legs. And so instead of her sitting bones going as far away from her crown as possible, her heels are going as far away from her crown as possible. So she's got super, super straight, strong legs, pulling in together like the cobra tail, Bhujangasana. That's coming up next. And then basically a super, super strong line. Okay, so key modifications, everyone, are tabletop, 4-point kneel.
Yeah.
So show me your 4-point kneel again there, beautiful Steph. And so Steph's gonna like bend her elbows, micro bend we call it, and then baguette the crap out of it. So hold the baguette. Like she doesn't even have to come that low. She can be sort of halfway down.
Halfway down, and just make sure that you're not letting your hips get involved. Make sure that you're wrapping everything in here and you're letting your hips stay. I see a lot of people wanting to bend the elbows, but then they let their hips come down. Only bring the elbows in.
You're trying to keep that spine flat the entire time, everyone. So Chaturanga, like wow, wow, wow. I really like to hang out in my 4-point kneel. I really like to do my modification. But yeah, there, boom, let me get out the way, like, oh, and then she's like, yeah, well, you know, some of you know, like, Steph, she's awesome, you know, she's only human. She did actually get injured in her shoulder a little while ago, and she's still recovering, but she knows how to rehab it. She's got one last modification for you, everyone, which is basically, she's going to show you now where the tip of the block is on the tip of her shoulder when she's in, so you know you're at the right height.
So you can practice it from tabletop. You bend, touch, and come back. Or you can do it a little higher. Bring the shoulder to the block. Same thing in full Chaturanga. Boop.
Boop,
And then I can hang out.
So, yeah, wonderful. And could you see how Steph could hang out that little bit longer when she had the modification? It's exactly, everyone, why you need to use your yoga blocks, your yoga straps. Okay, Iyengar, he's another cool guy. You know, he's one of the forefathers of yoga, and he was all about modifications. And it's an excellent practice. Yeah, cool. So come in here, Tiger, my yoga boss from Yogabones. What have you got to tell us, Steph?
Well, just at the end of the day, when we talk about modifications, the whole purpose of modifications is to be able to like really solidify your practice and maximize it, because we want to be able to do yoga until we're like 93, right?
Yeah.
So if we injure
99.
ourselves because we're not being careful, because we're choosing our ego versus modifications, then we're not going to be efficient. Our body's going to get all tired and injured. So put your ego at the door, use your modification, use your knees, use your elbows, find that tabletop. Chaturanga is a wicked, wicked pose when you're able to align it properly.
Feels amazing. And
it does feel amazing. You feel like a boss, like you keep saying it.
Yeah, so many benefits, so beautiful. But you know, Steph's obviously right, everyone. Like it's an awesome bit of kit that we've got, this human body. But let's just take care of it, you know? I mean, I know what old age looks like in terms of being a physio and treating the elderly in hospital. And, you know, I was told by all of my patients to avoid it, to avoid getting old physically. Yes, chronologically, but
I wish we could. But
they really, no, they advise don't get old physically. So it's more...
and what helps against that is that constant moving. Just moving the body. It doesn't need to be some elaborate, crazy, gravity-defying pose or anything like that, but just that constant movement, but with intention, with alignment.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's all I have to say right now.
Yeah, well, that's it. You know, the BAM, Yoga BAM, benefits, alignment, modifications. Please, everyone, let us know if you want any pose broken down, diagnosed, analyzed. We've got 100 poses for you. This is pose number 5. We look forward to bringing you the rest soon. But if you've got one that's like, whoa, I really want to know what's going on with this one, let us know, because we'd love to break it down for you.
Drop us a message and we'll get back to you.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, cool.
Bye,
Over
everyone.
and out.